Hey, this is Gina Grad.
Hi, this is Teresa Strasser.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Errico.
Hey there. This is Casey Cavalier.
I'm Rocky Rose.
And you are listening to The Jay Franzi Show.
Lucky you.
Welcome to The Jay Franzi Show. A behind-the-curtain look at the entertainment industry with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard. Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi and Tiffany Mason.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and with me tonight, the Ernie to my Bert, my beautiful co-host, Miss Tiffany Mason.
I was going to try to do a Bert voice, but I don't think I will.
Please don't.
Good evening.
If you are new to the show, this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. And if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jfranzi.com. All right, folks, tonight we have a very special guest with us. I said it once, I will say it again. We have a very special guest. We have a recording artist hailing from the great state of Connecticut. We have Kayn Falcon. Kayn, sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. Why don't we just start right off with how does living in Connecticut impact your music career?
Jesus. I mean, I'd say for the most part, being next to the Big Apple is a big influence on my part. Connecticut on its own is pretty calm. It's a pretty calm state. Not much going on. I like it though. It's a nice, peaceful place where you can kind of gather your ideas and cleanse your energy and make good records.
Is that why your bio says that you are from Connecticut/New York?
Yeah. No, I can't. You know, it would be a lie if I didn't say that I was heavily influenced by the big city.
Yeah.
How far is it from you?
On train, it's like 40, 50 minutes.
Oh, hop, skip, and a jump away.
Basically a suburb.
It's not that bad.
So who would you say influences you the most?
Wow. Definitely somebody like Madonna, people who have broken the status quo, people who push the limit. I think as creatives, our job is really to embody that art is a message. And so I think somebody like Madonna has influenced a lot of my work in the sense that, you know, if she wasn't involved in the game, I think it would not be the way that it is today. The same with Michael. Both of them had huge influences on the current way we listen to music, we buy music, we even make videos and whatnot. But I think career-wise, image-wise, I think I look up to her mostly because she was so profoundly herself. She really connected with me because I found myself being like the black sheep. And I thought she was like the black sheep in her own way. So I think, you know, that connection of being different, it saves you in the end.
Every time music made a shift, she was able to be there and shift with it. So do you feel like that's something that you are able to do?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a 50-50 step in that game. It's important to obviously, you know, keep up with the trends and try to, you know, be modern and, you know, but you have to also, music has to come from the soul. It has to come from your calling. And I agree with that. She definitely was able to change according to the landscape, but she still was very much herself in the way that she delivered her bodies of work. But yeah, 100%.
Now, you also mentioned that she was like yourself, that you identify as a black sheep. Why do you identify as a black sheep?
Well, a lot of reasons. I feel like, well, beginning with, you know, at least in my family, coming from a household of immigrants and also, most importantly, somebody who came with a lot of heavy expectations. I kind of was the first one to break a lot of them, beginning with the fact that I didn't play soccer. I never really partook in sports in high school, and I never was really a big fan of it. I mean, I love working out, but it just was not a big fan of perhaps soccer and and I kind of just follow my intuition to music and art. And I think that spoke to my soul, and it gave me a sense of not power, but like security of, being able to really express myself. And I mean, for a really long time, I felt like an outsider in high school. I felt like I wasn't fitting in. I didn't have like a group of people. You know how everyone has like their own groups of people.
Sure.
But, like, I was very much kind of viewing everything from a bird's eye view, from the upper level, and I didn't really feel connected.
So do you feel that way now? Have you met other artists that make you feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more present, a little bit more part of like a community?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have like still my idols, so I feel like in a way I can connect to them. I haven't really found too many people that connect to me in that level. I think it's about consciousness and also like, like vibes. Everyone has a different frequency they move in. But I definitely feel like I've met some cool, dope people. My closest friends, I would say, are in that same and like length wave, but it's not too many people that I can call and respond to. It takes time.
How large is your friend group?
Well, I mean, I have acquaintance. I believe there's a difference between friends and acquaintance. You can have people that you go and, hi, how's it going? Everything's cool. But then people who you actually trust. Because I'm a big believer that family is not just blood. It comes from actions. It comes from
Showing up.
Yeah, your beliefs. And so I would say like friends, I have like 3, like people that I can count. Like I know
think that's pretty good though, Kayn, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people get 1, 2, 3 that you get to, really deeply connect with and share secrets or troubles or desires with that, I don't think that we get very close to a lot of people. So I think that's pretty good. Sounds like you're really blessed, really.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm 100% grateful for the opportunity. Yeah. I mean, I feel really grateful that I even have, like I said, people that I can trust. But there is a difference, again, because I have obviously acquaintance. You all have that we, from, workspaces and whatnot, but people that I truly trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say like 3, I think.
Yeah, and I get Tiffany.
Lucky bastard.
All right. The other thing you mentioned was that you go down to New York about every other week to record. So let's talk about that for a minute. Where are you going to record?
Flux Studios.
Okay, and describe that to us. What kind of studio is it?
It's a pretty hidden space. That was like my first time ever recording there was in 2020 for the pandemic. I released my debut single, Brilliant Minds. I like the vibe of it. I believe that in a studio, you have to kind of go in and feel the energy. Even though I am only there for vocals, because I do make my own records, I still like to have a cool place where you can really get the vibe of. And it's a pretty hidden space. It's like a single door to the side of a corner store. It's pretty hidden. And you know what? It works perfect for me. Because once you go in, take the elevator, I normally go down to like the lower level, like underground. Huh. Like I don't know, there's something there that I really enjoy for most of my singles and unreleased songs. I've gotten there and I love it. I love the energy, and I just also feel a connection to New York City. I feel like the energy is really fast. I don't know. I have a thing with like fast-paced cities. Like I love them because there's endless energy. And I really, really like it.
So you mentioned that you're producing your own records. So you're going there for vocals. So when you're there, is it just working with an engineer?
Yeah, it pretty much has been just clicking with the engineers and having them like click the rep button and record vocals. And I think I like it that way. I think the more private a session is, the more magic you can get out of. At least in my beliefs, I do write and produce all of my records. And I have co-written, but I think when the flow of creativity is narrow it can really deliver properly. And I think, the less people, the better. I know it's like, I know some people love having like 10 people in one room. I'm very much like, I think my creative process is kind of like spiritual. It's a very sacred time for me. And I like to just make sure that I'm making my records at my own pace and I'm singing when I feel like my voice is ready to go.
Well, you said that you didn't really feel like you connected with a lot of people, or maybe possibly didn't feel heard necessarily. And so when you pour your soul out and create these songs, it is kind of sacred to you because you're kind of letting out what you want to say to people, but you don't necessarily have those sounding boards, or you used to not. And so, your music is probably pretty personal and sacred. And the fact that it sounds like it's an extension of you. So that would make sense to me that you would want to kind of have private time and hone in the lyrics or the melody or the music, that you're putting with the songs.
Yeah, 100%. You really hit the nail in the head with that one, because it really is, it's like therapy. I believe, again, music for me, it's more than just a catchy hook. It's an expression. It's a message. I know for a fact, in my darkest times, what really kind of got me through it was, music. I feel like there is a sense of connection, and I definitely would agree that I take my time with the records and just try to, express myself to the best of my abilities and deliver in the best way that I can.
Yeah. It says in your bio, there's some influences that you've had, and you're saying, New York City, and you like the fast pace of the energy of the city of New York City. And so I'm wondering, the music that you put out, it's interesting to me that it is such an expression of you, but it's also very fast paced. So can you speak to maybe why the songs are coming out fast paced? I guess if I just met you or I just read that, on the internet, I'd be like, oh, these are probably like really, like ballads or full of emotion or whatever.
Right.
And so can you speak to, why they end up being a little bit faster beat?
Yeah, I love pop music. I am not going to sit here and lie. I think some people, listen, country artists love their country art, like genre. They're country artists who have been going at it for 30, 40 years. Rock artists who have been going at it for 50, 60 years. And they're proud of the genre of music they create. And I think there's nothing wrong with being proud of being a pop artist. And I love upbeat music. Upbeat doesn't have to mean happy. It can still create a sense of, it creates consciousness. And I think in my personal liking, I like upbeats. I really do. I think tempos below 90 tend to be a bit difficult to work with in my experience. So I do like them to have, punchy sound to them. I mean, I'm definitely going to have a bit slower records in the album, but my latest singles have been upbeat because I also try to hide the meaning behind records. So for example, Automatic, my latest single, it's a bit of a commentary on modern society and living life on an automatic type of way, on like autopilot. Because I try to write in a very subtle way where you have to kind of read the lyrics to understand the message of the song, I think upbeat music kind of really helps, like kind of like smoke and mirrors that scene, like kind of blurry the meaning a bit. So you kind of just left with the hook instead of the whole meaning, because I believe that if you're going to want to look for the meaning, you have to dig deeper.
Oh.
That's why it takes some time for me, because I'm not trying to just make a crazy hook. I'm trying to make a meaning behind it, but still catchy enough for the listener to want to give it a listen. I'll tell you this much. I don't think I have it in my current catalog of music that I can think of a bunch of songs that are under the 100 BPM.
Yeah.
So for the most part, they tend to be a pretty upbeat, but I love that sound. It's so, I don't know, it really, again, I'm just a sucker for pop music.
Okay, so I know very little about EDM, but I know that there's like different houses or something, different genres within EDM. So where do you fall in the EDM spectrum?
Ooh, you know what? I would probably say, well, as of right now, the upcoming record's very synth pop. So maybe I wouldn't really call it techno. Maybe like synthwave. I think synthwave might fall under that category because it's like club music. There's house music. There's a bunch of, like, you're right. There's a bunch of smaller categories all in that category. But yeah, definitely like synthwave. Synthwave right now, it's really speaking to me. I love synthesizers. They're so dope. I love them. But yeah, I would say probably like synth. I mean, yeah, no, synthwave is definitely the genre I'd fall back on.
Okay. Awesome. And do you do the EDM parties? Like, do you go and, quote unquote, perform any of the music at any of the EDM parties?
I have not EDM parties. I'm because again, I will say, like, I'm such a, when it comes to performing, I'm out to do things. However, I haven't gone to an EDM specific EDM party where I'm to just, drop. Like, I haven't done that yet, but I mean, I have gone to like smaller clubs. Hey, can you, play the record? And, people, they're vibing to it. It's just a matter of, I think right now, exposure, like trying to really push it out there for people to hear it. But I mean, I would love to go and perform and, sing the records. And, I think those parties are a lot of fun. I've been to a couple of them. I wouldn't call myself too much of a night owl, but I mean, who doesn't love a good EDM party? Come on now. Now, come on.
I'm too old for them now, so.
Oh, come on. All right. I want to take a step back for just a second because you mentioned going in that studio to record your music. So can you kind of explain to us, after you go in the studio and you record your parts, do you then take them home and mix them yourself?
Right. So for the upcoming album that I'm releasing, I am a beat maker first. I'm a producer first. Every single song has the instrumentals first. I know everyone does like lyrics first, melody. I have to have a beat because I don't know, that's just the way that I like it. After I have the beat, I create the song, and then when I get a demo, I have the demo of it. I go and record vocals at the big city. After I get those, I normally would bring them home. I have my mixing engineer, Elijah. He's in Cali. I normally send him the stems, and he mixes it all together. And then we send that up for mastering to another buddy of ours. So I do the producing aspect, the writing, the mixing, and mastering. I leave that for somebody else who knows how, that whole thing goes. It's a bit more complicated. And I am a big believer that you cannot do everything yourself. You have to let specialists do their thing. Yeah, I would say that's kind of like the process of things. But I'm really happy with the work so far, and they're amazing. Elijah, he's a genius. He's so good at what he does.
What makes him good at what he does?
It makes it sound professional. I will tell you this, like, I've had, honestly, like, probably over like 7 mixing engineers in the past. And I feel like, it just really depends on the sound you're going for. My ear is kind of tailored for a specific pop compressed sound, and not everyone can get the mix to that level. So I'm really grateful that I found somebody that was able to do that, because you would be surprised. you would be surprised.
No, trust me, I don't think I would.
Yeah, it's not everyone has that ability.
I've seen some crazy things for sure. So that's an approach that you take. So we're walking through your process. So that now once everything's complete and it's mastered, are you then marketing your product, or are you using a team of people to market your product for you?
As a reason, I did just got a publicist kind of crew. So they're really amazing at what they're helping me with. But I was the one kind of pushing the promotion, because when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to do the whole TikTok thing. I don't want to become influencer to try to have to, do music, but you kind of have to do it. I mean, there's no other choice. And, the artist is kind of forced to do the influencer lifestyle now because it's the only way you get traction. I mean, even now, the algorithm is changing every week. There's new things coming out, and not unfortunately, but you do have to play the game in that sense. Where before it was about getting a record deal, it's now you have to get on the For You page. It's the same game, just different letters. And in that sense, I mean, it's a bit easier, I guess, but you have to really, if you're not being backed by a major record label, you have to put in the hours to, work on marketing and product placement. And, it's great. It's fun. I don't mind it. I actually really enjoy it, but it can be definitely, if you're not, making a salary off your music yet, it takes a bit of time.
Right. Well, I mean, I know you're talking about taking on social media and working with the algorithm and trying to find your place in a sea of people. But your brand, your image seems to be different than most. You seem to have a very fashion-forward image as well. So is that something that you focus on?
Yeah, I do also work on theme according with the upcoming album. A bit of a story, if you don't mind. The upcoming album was written when I was back up in freshman year. I'm currently 22. I wrote the album when I was in freshman, so that was like what? I was like 17. And I was fresh, starting to make beats. I, was going in for freshman year, and the high school experience really did something to me. When I was in freshman, I was going to release an album. I was talking to record deals and people, but nobody was signed, an 18-year-old boy. That just was not going to happen. So I ended up not moving forward with it. I continue sharpening my writing skills, my singing, and my producing skills, and I continue forward until recently. I was like, I want to go commercial. I want to go big. And most of my music tends to be a bit darker, a little bit pessimistic. However, I wanted to go brighter. And, I was kind of meditating and thinking, what should I do to go bigger? And then it clicked. I had the album that I made in freshman year, and I went back. I was looking for the hard drive. I was like, where is it? I found it. I played it. And I was amazed. I was gagged. In other words, I was like, this is insane. The records sounded so pure. There was a magic to them that you really cannot recreate nowadays. And I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to release next. And I told my team, I told my friends, and I actually had my friends come over and listen to the album. And they were like, you've never done anything like this before. This is actually insane. Looking back at it now, as somebody who has now written more songs, the structure of the way that I was making music back then was pretty damn close to how, bigger records are made. So I really think there was something in the air during that time period.
So as you're talking about making these transitions and going back and finding your earlier works and putting them together, you're kind of discovering who you are and where you're going. So do you feel like you now have a clear vision of who you are, or do you think that's still a work in progress because you're still fairly young?
I think I have an idea of my basis. I think, I'm a big believer that it's about creating yourself, not perhaps finding yourself. Some people, yeah, it works for them and good for you. I just feel like personally, in my way, trying to find myself was really never that much of a process. It was about creating myself with the habits, the way that I think. And so I would definitely say that I have a good basis as to who I am, things that I'm not willing to change about myself. Because you definitely have to be, to a certain degree, self-aware of who you are in order to become successful in life, but just in order to be a purposeful individual.
Yeah, Jay wrote a book called Stand Out or Fade Out, a lot about personal branding. So when you have a clear identity of who you are, if it's in the process of finding yourself or creating yourself, once you know that, though, that really gives you some it really forces you forward. Jay, your face is awesome right now. But you know what I'm trying to say? It really like momentum. There we go. Momentum.
Yeah.
It really gives you some momentum when you can kind of identify where you are, what you stand for, and the music you want to create.
100%. 100,000%. And you know what? Adding on to what you said, I do believe that some people, actually what both of you said, some people, it takes some time for them, and that's completely okay. Everyone goes at their own pace. I think really everyone's timeline is different. I think mine, I kind of knew a lot of it from the very beginning. And, you know, some things I'm still changing. But I think for the most part, especially after going back, I mean, man, I was, you know, opening the hard drive like 5 years after. It was insane. This is like music that I completely forgot about. Things that were, you know, I didn't even remember existed. And, you know, going back and I listening to those records, I was like, wow. Well, first of all,
I love that you impressed yourself. I love that. I love that so much. I love that you like, found this gem and then you're like, holy crap, that was so good. You're like, I'm going to build off of that.
You know what it is? Well, first of all, yes, I was really impressed. Not even because, again, the music, but the self-awareness that I had at such a young age. I was like, wow. But most importantly, again, I was like, what, 18, 17? I wanted to kind of debut with this idea, this body of work, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to, if I didn't release this music now, I wouldn't be able to release it any other time because it would have been too old by then. The music wouldn't be clicking. And funny enough, I don't believe in coincidences. So I actually think because I decided to release this body of work, things have started to fall into place, like weirdly enough. And I was like, that's a sign. I believe that I'm in the right path. But yeah, I mean, looking back at the body of the music, it was very, very insane that, you know, I was writing about those topics and the production style, and it was nice. You know, looking back at it, I'm like, wow, you know what? I started with the solid rock. I really was not. Well, no, because I'm also like realistic. I'm not gonna be, you know, like, oh yeah, like that was good. No, like if I didn't hear it myself, I wouldn't put it out.
Right.
Like I love making music, but I also believe in, you know, you gotta have a good song. You got, you know, I don't believe in the whole, you know, but this has memories. Well, if it has memories, we can keep it in the back burner. We can keep it there. We don't have to release it. Like, I actually listened to a lot of these songs by myself, and you know, so it's nice to go back and really get those memories back out again.
Yeah.
I got a question for you in regards to what Miss Tiffany was saying earlier. She was talking about performing at some of these parties. What is your goal when it comes to performing, since the style of music you're doing doesn't necessarily lend itself to live performance when it comes to a band? So do you find yourself performing with DJs or in other ways?
Theatrical ways of performing. I really, as this upcoming era is very theatrical, very much like a play of sorts. I think, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of theatrics. We've lost a lot of entertaining performances. You can get, on a stage and sing in front, get a mic and sing in front of the crowd, or you can have a band. But I do like a show, and a show that tells you a story. I obviously have not performed in like crazy festivals or anything like that yet.
Can you help me, Kayn, and explain what that would look like? I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
Just even picturing. I don't really know what it means.
Basically, here I'll tell you a little secret, as I'm planning to hopefully go on bigger festivals next year.
Okay.
I would be performing with backup dancers, because I do believe that the more the merrier, and I do like a bit more soul into it. You know what I'm saying? I could perform by myself. I have no problem doing that. But I do believe that for pop, I'm very traditional pop. I believe, you got to really grab them by the throat and give them a good show.
I think Michael did that in some of his videos, didn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was like the OG of like great performances, you know? But it would be, me going on stage. I'm actually debating whether or not I want to have because you can do like LED screens, like the bigger, but those tend to be a bit more expensive. Or you can do like what is it?
Get
The
LED or projection.
projectors. Yeah, the projectors. So I think I'm trying to do projectors as of now, being smart about my budget. But it will be consistent of, performances being very like theatrical. When I mean theatrical, I mean in the sense of like you're kind of following a story. So a lot of it is kind of just me acting the story out with the backup dancers following along. Something that I really enjoy because I do like the entertainment part of it. I do enjoy the entertainment part of it. Obviously, it's kind of really hard to explain such thing without seeing it. So for that, I would say, next year we will be hitting the stages. But I do like to put a story in it, give them something to break down.
Interesting.
So if you're performing in that manner, how are you connecting with your audience?
Well, at the same time as you're, telling a story, we don't live in an age where people put their phones down, or at least not as of now. Everyone's always recording. And I want to make sure that I'm, first of all, giving a good vocal performance, but I want to make sure the fans are following along with the story that the concert is telling. Because the album is a concept body of work. It's a story. Well, hopefully the idea is that they will understand the story. Connecting with the audience consists, again, there's a segment in the show where I don't want to say too much, but I want to bring, because I'm such
Tell us everything, Kayn. Let it all out. Reveal it here on the Jay Francie Show.
True that, but I'm gonna bring some people onto the stage and have them participate in a way that, again, interacting with the audience, making sure that I am also keeping an eye out on the crowd.
How are you connecting with people outside of your performances? How are you building that fan base?
Oh, good Lord. Trust, they are alive and well. I actually I do these things called like confessionals on my social media platforms where I have like my followers, I guess, they drop confessions and like I'll be like, hey guys, how's it going? Just like tell me something. And they're quite the crew. They're very wild. Every so often I'll post a photo and they'll be like, hey, so like where is the new music? They will like curse me out. They'll be like, where's the new music? Like we've been waiting for the new album. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, guys, I'm a one-man crew in here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really pushing it through. Yeah, mostly it's connection through the social media, like Instagram, TikTok. Getting to a point where I think I can start doing smaller venues, because that's the thing. You can have 10,000 followers, but as long as you have 6,000 of them who are really loyal to you, you can go a long way.
Oh, absolutely. That's the key, is to have 1,000 true fans, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk business for a second. How are you supporting yourself and this career while you're trying to get it up to a point where it can then support you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I am a workaholic. I truly do work like nobody else. And what I mean by that is I have multiple jobs. I have worked ever since I could. I think, knowing that once you kind of lock in with your purpose and that, you want to do this for the rest of your life, you have to really give it your all. There is no plan B. And you have to do everything in your power. So with that being said, I've worked from retail to restaurants. I'm actually still working as we speak. Restaurants as, servers.
Have you considered doing things for other artists? Like singing 100%. Background vocals or dancing for other artists, or even helping with the things that you've learned through your marketing process for yourself, applying that to other artists?
Yeah, I'm 100% down to collaborate with other people and other artists. I would love to. I've collaborated before. Again, I just want to I'm always truthful. But when you go to some artist, you just want to make sure you're serving them.
Well, I was just thinking you're probably a step ahead of most. So if you're a step ahead of most, you can use your knowledge as a guide for other people, and you can use that as a form of making income through your industry while you're trying to get the rest of your stuff off the ground.
100%.
And possibly rubbing elbows or bumping into those people that could open doors for you.
100%. Yeah. I would love to. I do love to make music, and I love artistry. It would be amazing to be able to write with other people. I mean, I've done it. It's just, trying to find people who are actually into because you want to make sure you're making the genre according to the artist.
Right.
Yeah, I love to. I would love to.
What's been your biggest challenge?
I'm pretty much a perfectionist in the sense that making sure the song is at the best. For example, my last single had 11 different choruses. Now, Tiffany, trust me, that's nothing compared to
It's a 2.5 hour song.
Oh, no, I wish. I honestly, I wish. When I have an image in my head, a vision, I try to really follow it, and sometimes it takes time. I mean, Automatic took a year to be finished, like fully finished. It had 11 different choruses, 4 different verses. It had like 8 different pre-choruses. And mind you, the pre-chorus is literally 7 seconds. But I do put my all into it, and I think my biggest challenge is that being perfect, because everyone's like, "Oh, you're your worst critic." No, I'm not. Actually, I like to believe that I'm my own best friend, because I actually really love what I do, and I just want to make sure that it's good. However, I do know the limit where you're like, okay, like this is the best we can do. Let's just like leave it there. So definitely the biggest challenge is that.
What do you think made Automatic so special? Or what is, when you're performing it, where are the parts that you're like, oh, here it comes. I hope the audience is ready for this. Like what are the parts you really love?
Actually, the very first hook, "Come to Suburbia," that part is the thing that when I performed it at my birthday party. And the minute the beat drop came in, I didn't even have to sing the beginning verse, because I just moved the mic to my friends and they were like, "Come to Suburbia," and they were like, really getting into it. Well, to answer your question, the thing that made it special, the verse was actually, again, a really good hook thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it had something to it, and the meaning behind it. Again, I do believe that as an artist, you do have a job, and you can write about your personal experiences, but you can also do what a lot of legendary, iconic artists have done, which is staple history, like what's going on right now in 2025. And Automatic is, again, living life on autopilot, being very conscious. So I think on that aspect, the meaning was really important. But on the song itself, I think it made it really special because it was the first song where I was going full pop. I wasn't doing like darker electronic. This is like full blown, in your face pop music.
I suppose I was a little surprised to hear you singing in falsetto. So I'm curious, is that how you tend to perform? Is that your preference? Is kind of that falsetto sound?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for the most part, pop requires a bit of brightness to it.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that sound, like that nasality quality to it. So for the most part, I try to sing it in that more nasal quality. It took everyone by a surprise when they were like, "That's you," and I was like, "Yeah." But I also think that it says a lot. It says a lot that we do not expect a lot from male singers. I feel like a lot of male singers just kind of get to hit they're like, and that's it. I feel like, no, but I'm not. This is being realistic.
Like not maybe very much range or showing very much skill or something, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Freddie Mercury. I'm not saying that. I do believe, however, that I like to put some soul into it and spice it up a little. I do believe that it does signify that we should start pushing the vocals a bit more, because who doesn't like to sing, hear a guy really get to those notes. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I have sung lower before. I mean, Substance has a bit of a lower quality to it, where it's more of like, He leaves the bar with the prescription. It's a very lower tone. It's not too crazy. Automatic definitely brings the more pop into the
Well, in the beginning, you said that you wanted to kind of push the envelope a little bit like Madonna and Michael. And so I suppose that is pushing it a little bit, right? We're expecting, we see a male face and we expect a male voice. And then we hear this falsetto, or like you said, a little bit more nasally. It takes us off guard a little bit. And so
100%. That's literally part of the formula. I mean, if it makes, listen, the first time I sent a song over for mixing, I got an email from the mixer, and he goes, yeah, I like the song, the sound, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh, and who's that girl singing? And I was like, I was like, okay, yeah, I got it. I caught the vibe for what you're saying. But again, I actually love it. And that's something that I had to come to terms with in high school. I actually never sung in choir because I remember one time I sung for my friend and they told me that I sounded more feminine and I didn't want to ever sing again. And now I kind of just embrace it.
I was going to say, does that bother you?
No. You know why? Because at least I don't sound, like a thousand other guys.
No, it makes you sound unique.
At least you sound more, you have something to it. And I like, again, accepting yourself is what I realized a lot in this album. I realized a lot about that. It was just, you have one voice. It's not bad. You have been blessed with vocal cords. Use them.
There's something to be said about being different.
Yeah. I was going to say, you said you're trying to create who you are.
Yeah.
And so those are the building blocks for who you're becoming.
Again, exactly. You don't have to dig too deep into finding who you are. It can sometimes just be right there. And my voice is, I'm singing the way that I speak, and I'm just trying to be myself. Where before, my unreleased songs, like my debut single in 2020, I was singing in this darker, more masculine sounding like tone. And then, funny enough, my grandma, she was like, "Did that hurt?" And I was like, "What are you saying?" And she was like, "Yeah, like it sounds like you were so like, really forcing the tone." And I was like, you know what? Ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sing the way that I feel comfortable. And that's the one, and that's the thing.
I think that's when you enjoy life the most, when you are who you are. I was always made fun of for my laugh. And when we get a lot of compliments about my laugh. So
they're just lying.
Suck it, Chris Hillman.
Nice. All right. Well, we do this thing here we call Unsung Heroes, where we take a moment to shine light on somebody who works behind the scenes or somebody that may have supported you along the way. Do you have anybody that you would like to shine a little light on?
Oh, Lord. My mother is my biggest supporter. And I love you, Mommy. She is the first person who ever believed in me. I'm very much a black sheep in the crew that I was in. So when it came time for me to be like, hey, I want the music, you best believe a bunch of people were like, hey, so that's actually not a reasonable career and you're not going to do that. And I said to them, no, I'm going to follow through. And I did. And my mom has always supported me. She was there for my first recording. She was there for my first photo shoot. She is the cutest thing in the world. And the reason why I think I push so hard is seeing her work ethic, first of all, but also seeing, how she wanted to accomplish all these dreams but couldn't. And I have the blessings of life to do the things that I do, to be where I am today. And I will gladly grab the torch and follow through. And she's literally been my biggest supporter. And she is the first person I showed the songs to. I'm like, hey, Mommy, like, can you listen to this? And she'll be like, I love that. Or that's not, my favorite. She is the only one who has supported me through and through. When people said that I couldn't sing, when people said that I sounded like this or like that. And she always believed in me. And for that, I am forever grateful.
What's your family's background?
Costa Rican. We're Costa Rican. That's the flag right there. We're a very petite crew, but, I am just really grateful.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have done it. We have reached the top of the hour, which does mean we have reached the end of the show. And if you've enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. And if you have not, Miss Tiffany.
Tell two.
Tell two. You can reach out to both of us. Hell, you can reach out to all three of us over at jfrenzy.com, and we will be happy to keep this conversation going till at least 2 or 3, 4 in the morning. Just reach out to us, and we will go all night long. Kayn, sir, we cannot thank you enough for being here. It's been an absolute blast. We would like to leave the final words to you.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Make sure you follow Jay and our homegirl, Tiffany. Again, thank you for having me. I had a blast, and I hope the listeners are having a blast too. Have a beautiful night.
All right, folks, on that note, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Jay Franzi Show. Make sure you visit us at jfranzi.com. Follow, connect, and say hello. This episode has been brought to you by VR Knives, your source for 100% custom knives made by a true rock star. So, if you're in the market for a new piece of art, reach out to VR Knives. 407-421-5528. 407-421-5528.